What is up, everybody? We are back. If you are new to this video, welcome. If you are a regular watcher, appreciate you very much. If you don't mind, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button. Those go a long way in helping us be able to make these videos. Now, it is spring break for my son. And so basically I'm playing, his personal butler slash entertainer all week. And it's kind of fun. It's kind of stressful, but yeah, we're here to talk about the Texas Children's Houston Open. Before we do, let's talk about the Valspar Championship. Man, I can't help but feel like I left a lot out on the table last week. My two main tournament lineups both had Sam Burns. They both had 5 or 6 through the cut. Sam Burns, all I needed was a par from him on his final hole to get 6 of 6 in both of my lineups. And what does he do? He 3-putts his final hole to miss on the number. And to make matters worse, DraftKings and the PGA Tour site changed it from a bogey to a par for a span of about 15 minutes. And then they changed it back to a bogey. So we got not only the sweat and then the letdown and then another sweat and another letdown. But ultimately, still had a good week of DFS. Not so much on the betting front. Had Justin Thomas and Lucas Glover as my favorite outrights. They were the two biggest favorites heading into Saturday's round, and they were paired together on Saturday. Justin Thomas shot a 79, lost over 7 strokes putting. Lucas Glover shot 1 over. I think he lost 2 strokes putting. So together they were like 9 over, lost like 10 strokes putting. So yeah, feel like we were on the right path, but didn't get all the breaks to go our way. Oh, and then I bet on Cam Young live on Sunday. Malnati got that great drop. I still don't understand that golf rule where you can drop from. He dropped from the rough, bad lie in the rough. It was by a sprinkler head, so we got to drop the nearest point of relief, and then he got a full club length and ended up dropping on the fringe. So we went from the fringe to the rough, made an easy up and down. Then Cam Young, yanked one on 18. But anyway, let's talk about this week. As you can tell, still a little frustrated about how last week ended. But we have the Memorial Park Golf Course. Is going to be the 4th time that we've seen this course on the PGA Tour. It's going to be the first time that we've seen it in the spring. So the first 3 times were held 2020, 2021, 2022, and it was all in the fall. So this is going from the fall swing event to kind of a precursor to the Masters. This is a par 70 course and measures 7,400 yards, so very long course, especially given the par. Now there are 3 par 5s and 3 par 3s, so it's a little bit of a unique par 70 layout. There's also a drivable par 4, and what that means is you're going to get a lot of long par 3s and a lot of long par 4s. In terms of the difficulty, this played as the 11th most difficult in 2022, the 9th most difficult in 2021, the 8th most difficult in 2020. So it's a pretty tough course. Water's only in play on 4 of the holes, but the fairway is pretty tough to hit on average. Last time we saw this event, 57% driving accuracy, 63% green regulation. And the unique feature about this course is that it is a municipal golf course. So there's like 60,000 rounds played on this course every year. And what the designer did was he wanted to make it challenging for the professionals and easier for the recreational players. So there's only 21 bunkers on the course. Now, I don't know about you. I don't know how good you are at golf, but I cannot get out of a bunker. So I would love to go and play this course. There's only 21 of them on the entire course. Now, pros, they love the bunkers. They would much rather be in the bunker around the green than in the rough. So it plays a little bit more challenging for the pros, a little easier for the amateurs, which is kind of cool. So yeah, it's pretty difficult, pretty long. The fairway is pretty average size. The greens are pretty large. The one difference, given the time of the year, is going to be the grass type on the greens. So it's usually Bermuda grass in the fall, but right now it's Poetrivolus overseed. Same we saw last week, same we've seen at a couple different places so far this year. So if you do want to look at putting splits, I do have those in the model, the Poetrivolus overseed putting splits. And for the most part, the harder the course, the more I'm willing to target bad putters because, the tougher courses demand more tee to green. So you will be seeing a lot of recommendations and bets on my end when it comes to guys that are just really good ball strikers, really good around the green, but just can't always get the putter working. And I think that should do it for the course overview. The past winners here: Tony Finau, Jason Kokrak, Carlos Ortiz. They're all pretty long off the tee, all pretty good long iron players. The approach shot distribution is going to be pretty even. There's not a lot of wedges, not a lot of mid irons, not a lot of long irons. Pretty nice mix between all the different approach shot distributions. And yeah, I think experience in Texas is certainly going to help with the wind and just the overall area. Being able to play well in Texas has been pretty predictive here over the years. Now let's get into the stats. I have 5% off the tee. Most of that weighted to the long run, last 6 months, last 12 months. 5% the total driving. Pretty big weight to stroke gain approach. As we saw last week, the expected approach column here takes a look at how many approach shots golfers are going to be expected to hit within each 50-yard bucket, whether that's from the fairway or the rough. And then it looks at historical strokes gained for individual golfers in those buckets. So it's a really cool statistic that I kind of came up with the help of Data Golf's metrics that they have available on how many shots they're expecting golfers to hit within each range. Scheffler's number 1, Hoagie 2, Finau 3, Zalatoris 4, Mark Hubbard 5. Now Hubbard, we're going to talk about him a lot. He was awesome at the Players tee to green, just couldn't do anything else, especially with the putter. So around the green, I have it at 5%. Don't mind bumping this up a little bit if you want, just because the greens are tough. And with so few bunkers, you're going to get a lot of closely mown areas with runoffs around the green. So you're going to get a lot of tight lie chips. So tighty short game is certainly going to be an advantage this week. Pretty big weight to putting. I have it at 9% total, with 3 of that coming on Poa Trivalis splits. So guys that put the best on these types of greens: Montgomery, Griffin, Baddeley, Ryder, Jason Day, Justin Suh. 7% weight to birdie or better, 7% weight to bogey avoidance. Very low weight to course history this week, just because it hasn't been all that predictive year in and year out. I kind of prefer using Texas splits, which you have here. So I put that at a 6% weight. So guys that have played the best in Texas over the last 3 years: Scheffler, Noren, Finau, Berger, and Gary Woodland. The course fit, I didn't put it at any, just because Scheffler rates out as a 20. Some of the really good golfers rate out pretty poorly in the course fit on Data Golf. So I don't have that weighted at all this week. And then we have the Rabbit Hole Custom. So if you do want to check out Rabbit Hole at BetSperts, we do have an affiliate link if you want to sign up for it. It's a really cool tool. Basically has every golfing split that you could ever imagine. You can focus on grass type, par, the length of the course, the difficulty of the course, the size of the greens, the area geographically. And then you can look at all the individual, just the regular strokes gain metrics, all the stats that you could ever want off the tee, around the green, scoring metrics, all that stuff. So what I did, I kind of created a custom metric. So I went through and I looked at courses that are at least average when it comes to difficulty. So average, above average, and hard. I looked at courses with at least average size greens, courses that can't remember what else I put into this. But yeah, it's kind of cool. You can go through and do all that fun stuff. So guys that rated out the best in my unique filters, got Scheffler, Zalatoris, Wyndham Clark, Johnny Vegas, and Sam Stevens kind of leading the way there. As always, you have your form over the last 10 weeks. This doesn't actually go into the model in terms of the weights, but it's just to show you golfer's form. So somebody like Scheffler, back-to-back wins, hasn't finished outside of the top 17 in the last 10 weeks. Then we have the short-term form, which is a mix of the last 3 months and the last 24 rounds. You have the midterm form, which is a mix of the last 9 months and the last 50 rounds. You have long-term form, which is a mix of the last 18 months and the last 100 rounds. So I kind of like weighing long-term more than short-term, but to each their own. If you want to bump up short-term, look at guys that are playing great just coming into the week, you certainly can do that. You can change any of these weights up above. If you are a premium member, you can download this model, change the weights. It'll automatically change these ratings here. So let's say you want to flip these. You want to do 16% short-term. Actually, before we do that, let's go ahead and rank them. So right now, top 5, Scheffler, Clark, Finau, Day, and Tigala, based on my inputs. Let's go ahead and flip the short-term and long-term stats. Actually, we have the same starting five, but so somebody like Horschel is going to pop up a little bit because he's been in some decent form. Jaeger's going to go down a little bit. Novak's going to go up. He's obviously playing some good golf. He's got 4 top 13s in his last 5 starts. So you can go through and adjust all of these if you want. If you just want to focus on guys that make a lot of birdies for showdown or just for scoring purposes, you can go ahead and bump this up. If you want to focus on, just straight tee to green, you can get rid of the putting, put all these at 0, focus just on ball strikers, whatever it may be. You can do that with this model, which I think is a lot of fun. And then after you're done playing with the weights, you can come here. It'll have the ratings all ready to go that you can load into Lineup HQ and use as your projection source. Okay, let's talk about the player pool. At the very top, you have Scotty Scheffler. Back-to-back wins. Obviously, had the neck injury that he was dealing with the Players. The way I see it, look, people are going to say, you can't play him with the injury. He might withdraw. He wouldn't be here if it was still bothering him. The Masters is coming up. So if he doesn't withdraw before Thursday, I think he's completely good to go. My plan is to maybe lock him in. I might lock him into every lineup that I build this week. Certainly in single entries, certainly in cash games. I'm starting with Scheffler. The floor on DraftKings is $5,000 once again, so a lot more values than we're used to seeing when the floor is $6,000. The field's pretty weak. Love the idea of starting with Scheffler. Definitely going to be overweight on him in MME as well. Wyndham Clark next up at 30%, 10-9. Don't have a strong take on Clark. I mean, he's playing some great golf. He won at Pebble, back-to-back second-place finishes to Scotty Scheffler. I mean, that's got to be frustrating for him. Lost to him at the API, then lost to him at the Players. The Players, man, he lipped out that birdie putt on 18 to force the playoff. Then Finau, number 3. He's been really good with his irons this year. The putter has been up and down, but I think he's gained putting in 3 straight, so maybe that's coming around a little bit. He has won this event in the past, so if you want to look at him, I don't mind it. I do like Jason Day as sort of a contrarian play this week. He's been pretty solid. A lot of it's been the short game so far this year, but we've seen him win in Texas, won I think it was the Byron Nelson last year. That was kind of the peak of his comeback. And yeah, everything kind of checks out for him. He's 3 for 3 here with a couple top 20 finishes. Tigala's got that excellent short game. You never know what to expect with him when it comes to the ball striking, but seems like a decent course fit for him. My first bet of the week is going to be Will Zalatoris at 20-1. I think that's an excellent price for a guy that lives in Texas, very familiar with the area. Missed a cut at the Players, but prior to that, he was 4th at API. He was 2nd at the Genesis. Excellent tee to green, and he has gained strokes putting in 4 of his last 6, I want to say. So, the move to the long putter, the lab putter, I think is going to, pay some dividends long term. And I just think it's a really good course fit for him. We know he loves difficult golf courses, and this is one of the toughest non-majors on the PGA Tour. Jaeger, bet him as well at 50-1. He gets into contention a lot. Hasn't been able to cross the finish line just yet, but I think he won a couple times on the Korn Ferry Tour, so we at least know he has it in him. T35, T9 here the last couple of years. Siwoo Kim's recent numbers, tee to green, have been awesome. So yeah, he's gained at least 5.7 strokes tee to green in 5 of his last 6 starts. T35 here last year. Don't mind looking at him. Noren's a guy that always projects well, but I never seem to get a lot of exposure to. Hasn't missed a cut on the PGA Tour, I think let's see if I have it here, since September. So playing some consistent golf. I think he's missed, 1 or 2 cuts on the DP World Tour, but coming in pretty good form. Aaron Rai, got to think he's a perfect course fit. Good total driver, elite iron player, underrated around the green. Did miss the cut last week. That was a little frustrating, but otherwise he's been very solid. Doug Gim wasn't good on the weekend at the Valspar, but prior to that, 5 straight top 20 finishes. Great ball striker. I'll continue to play him at 8,200. That's a really good price point. I mean, Keith Mitchell, man, what do we do with Keith Mitchell? 2-stroke lead heading into the Sunday round at the Valspar. Finished T24. I mean, that is not good whatsoever. He just completely tanked on Sunday. Don't know how he'll react, but the ball striking has been pretty good recently. We've been waiting for Bo in Texas, so ignore the bad form, ignore the back-to-back missed cuts. This is the time to play Bo, get him back in Texas. Hoagie, the iron play has been awesome. He's gained at least 3.7 strokes on approach in 7 straight starts, so just absolutely on fire with the irons. He went TCU, so familiar with Texas golf. Akshay's right now well, another good ball striker. Jake Knapp just continues to play well, man. I couldn't believe he won. And then it was even more surprised by his 4th place finish. I want to say that was at Bay Hill, but maybe not. And then, made cuts the next 2 weeks as well. So, yeah, I mean, Knapp's been playing some good golf. I don't know if it's sustainable, but he's playing well. Ben Griffin with a nice finish last week. He also has a top 20 here, but the ball striking hasn't been good. It's been all short game. Hubbard, so yeah, top 5 tee to green at the Players, one of the best iron players in the field. I think he's an excellent value play. No strong take on Rogers, Luke List. So Luke List has lost around the green in 9 of his last 10 starts. That worries me at a course where it's hard to hit greens. If he's going to be, double-digit ownership, I'll take my chances with a full fade. I like Kitayama in tournaments. Horschel's been playing a little bit better. The tee to green game's coming around a little bit. Dahmen, so he's been on fire with the ball striking. He's gained 10 and 9.2 strokes ball striking his last 2 starts. Now he's lost 7.5 strokes putting during that stretch, but love the recent ball striking. And look at this course history, 5th and 9th. I think he's going to get steamed up like crazy this week. I could see this number being north of 20% by the time lineups lock. I bet him outright at 90-1. I like that more than I like the ownership, but man, checks a lot of boxes this week. Thompson's an interesting tournament play. I like Lashley. The model loves him. He's been very hit or miss. So he's got 7 starts this year, 2 top 15s, 5 missed cuts. But, man, the stats are pretty good. I mean, 17th in the stat model. And all these cuts that he's missing are almost like right on the number. He's just missing by 1 or 2 strokes. So, yeah, I like Lashley at 6,000. My fade of the week is going to be Sam Ryder. So he's been one of my favorite plays each of the last 3 events. He's played well. Great Sunday last week. But, man, he's 0 for 3 here. I want to say 0 for 2 here. And the putter has been, carrying him. He's gained 20 strokes putting in his last 3 starts. He's not that good of a putter. So I'm going to take my chances with the full fade of Ryder. I'm okay with Novak. We talked about his form a little bit. I'm okay with Mackenzie Hughes. Fell apart a little bit on the back 9 on Sunday when he was in contention. But 3 straight top 30s on the PGA Tour, 3 straight top 30s at this event. I think that is a very solid combo of course history and recent form. Montgomery's all putter. Cage Lee's been playing a little bit better. Don't mind looking at him in tournaments. Chandler Phillips turned pro and then finished T3. So, an interesting young player to keep an eye on. See if he can keep it going this week. Silverman's been playing okay. Bramlett's really good tee to green. Taylor Moore's been making a lot of cuts, but he hasn't been showing a lot of upside. He did finish T13 last week, but no strong take there. I like Dylan Wu again. Talked about him on the video last week. Going to be off of Cam Davis for now. Taylor Pendrith's one of my favorite tournament plays, so I think it's a good course fit for him. He's a lot like Jason Kokrak in his skill set, who was one here in the past. And if you look at his game log, it's just a lot of top 10s, a lot of missed cuts. So top 10 upside at 1% ownership and 6,600. Sign me up for that. See if there's anyone else that we're missing. Michael Kim played okay last week. Norlander coming off of back-to-back top 15s. They were very weak fields, but somebody to keep in mind. I think he's played here 3 times. No finish better than T67, but he knows the course at least. Brandon Wu is probably my favorite guy in the 5Ks. Colley's playing a little bit better. Did miss a cut last week, but it's good to see him back on the course. And I think that'll do it. I mean, I don't hate the course fit for Johnny Vegas, but I just want to see a little bit more from him before we start, loading up on him. Bjork was one of my favorite guys last week. Made the cut, didn't do much with it, but this is not the same course fit. So he's more of an accuracy guy. And this is one of the longer courses that he's played so far this year. So that'll do it for the video. Thank you for joining me. If you want to check out the rabbit hole, we have links for that. Reach out to me if you have any questions about that. We do have a $20 off the combo package for RG Premium right now, which gives you access to the 4 major sports: NBA, PGA, NHL, MLB, which is starting this week. So that's going to be a lot of fun. If you're interested in that, let me know. I have my own link that I'm kind of doing a contest to see who can get the most signups. So yeah, if you want to give us a shot, you want to try out this model, the download, we have a lot of other great content. The Masters is right around the corner, so it's a great time to join. Get access to the start of the MLB season. Get access to the Masters. And hey, if we don't do a good job, you can cancel after 1 month and not worry about it. So thanks for watching the video. Appreciate you, and we will catch you back here next week.